Welcome to the late night freedom stream. This is
Yo,
Leighton.
he's all geared up.
I'm Jacob. I have my headgear on because I'm ready for the backlash. I'm ready for the backlash we're going to receive for this episode. So the first segment of this episode, I'm going to say the N-word until we get kicked off of all major platforms. Okay, are you ready, Leighton? Hit the timer. We're going to see how long this takes.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Nosferatu, 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 Nosferatu. Just kidding. Hey, welcome. So I want to start out by saying thank you for watching. And I've gotten myself into a little bit of local drama today. And I want to clarify that, I do call myself a Christian. I do believe in Jesus Christ. But my personal social media, I like to make a lot of jokes. This show here, this is a comedy conservative podcast with an emphasis on local news. If you don't like that stuff, maybe watch a different live stream podcast.
Go watch Joe Rogan or something, dude.
Yeah. Well, we like Joe Rogan. Go listen to Hassan Piker if you're upset by this show.
Go listen to Keffels.
So we're gonna get into a bunch of local gossip today, and I'm gonna piss a bunch of people off. So without further ado, I guess I can just kind of talk about this, where there was some former drama. It's actually how I met Leighton. We can talk about this a little bit, where Leighton got in contact with me because he saw my Pride video that I did last year, and he was offended by it, and he left hate comments on my YouTube. Fast forward to like 6 months, 7 months later, he was red-pilled, partly by Sam Hyde, I think. And
yeah, definitely Sam Hyde was a big kind of that whole sphere of the internet was a big kind of shift of change, in my opinion, on stuff.
So he reached out to me and sent me this very nice message. And so we got him on the show and interviewed him, and me and him started talking, and he had really good ideas for videos and stuff. And he's a lot more tech savvy than I am. So I made him the producer for my show, and he just keeps getting better at it. And, anyhow, the reason I bring up that Pride event is because you can watch that video. It's on my personal YouTube channel. There's an interaction that's about 10 minutes long where me and Johan Collins, this shitty local promoter guy, are like yelling in each other's faces. And he acts like he wants to fight me, but he doesn't want to fight me. If somebody would send this to Johan, I still want to do a charity boxing match. I still want to punch you in the face legally and beat the crap out of you because I could legally. And I would like to, and we could do it for charity, and it would be cool. Anyways, I mentioned him because that got me into beef with the guy who owns the Outland, called Kevin Dunn, who is a thug with a fragile ego. So if you're thinking about, it's not like a secret where I live, and suffice it to say, I believe in the Second Amendment and Castle Doctrine. So, I think that covers my bases here. But he started making posts about me and smearing me on Facebook and trying to ruin me and get me kicked out of the scene. And me and him got in a little tiff today. But he raised a bunch of money on the premise that he was going to preserve the historic location of the Outland, which he just like sold and acts like it's no big deal recently. And I made a Facebook post saying that I'm excited for the day that he fails. And I got a bunch of patchouli smelling dope heads quoting scripture at me because I guess I'm not being Christ-like. And that's kind of why I opened the show the way I did today, because, I'm not against getting in the mud with people a little bit. I mean, come on, guys. You know me. You know me. That's like my forte. That's why I'm here. It's the reason for the season. And so he's a con man. His business is going to fail. I look forward to seeing it fail. He conned everybody out of a bunch of money, and then people want to like run cover for him and act like he's not a total scumbag. I guess it's apparent enough that I don't have to say anything, but I'm perfectly happy to say some stuff about it. So that's enough talking about those freaking douchebags. But I do want to gossip about some other people that are in the local scene. We had mentioned this previously. If you could start looking up city council meetings in Springfield, Missouri, and pull that one up and go to the end in the comments. So Josiah Cloud, a friend of mine, whom I do respect, was on my show a couple episodes back, and he was advocating for the organization of Stun and trying to get me to look at it a little bit differently. And on that episode, while he was here, I'm like, okay, let's watch some of these other Stun people. And Mark kind of saved him and parlayed into something else. But me and Leighton, after stream the other night, we're watching some of that shit. And I was like, man, this totally like disqualifies his defense of Stun. Like and I know these people. And so I just kind of want to like go through some of that and talk about how useless this organization is. And it's funny to see how serious they take themselves. And I will give them credit that it is brave to go before city council and state your opinion. Like, kudos for that. It takes balls. You can tell that a lot of them are nervous in the videos. You got that yet? Can you pull that up?
Yeah, but there we go.
So skip past Jordan here. I want to get into go to John Bird. It's the black guy.
John Bird. I'm sure it'll be real easy to spot out.
Yep. Right there. Past beanie guy.
Yeah, kind of looks homeless himself.
And this honestly infuriated me when I first saw it. And I'm not going to hold back here. I'm just going to tell you exactly what I think about this. So I got my headgear ready for people that want to come on the attack for this one. So let's go, boys. Let's see what he's got to say. They're making a big difference in Springfield. They're changing the community. Seems as if the audio is not working, Leighton.
And I speak to you tonight as a resident of Springfield, Missouri, since 2012, and as one among many who find themselves without stable housing. It's a sobering reality that while the city of Springfield has allocated a hefty $10 million from the general fund for a home stadium, the same level of urgency and investment is sorely lacking when it comes to addressing the pressing housing and tenants' rights crisis in our city. This glaring contradiction lays bare the skewed priorities of our city leaders, where the comforts of a stadium takes precedence over the basic human need for shelter. As we gather here today, countless individuals and families in our community remain without homes, or are forced into living in unsafe housing or risk illegal landlord retaliation for asserting their rights. We are being marginalized and overlooked by those in positions of power because of the lack of regulations and protections, and the lack of action is coming from the top. The lack of affordable, habitable housing and legal representation in eviction court are primary drivers of homelessness in our city. Yet we continue to see inaction by city leaders in implementing essential protections such as rental inspections and licensing, and legal counsel, leaving vulnerable tenants like those at Jenny Lynn at the mercy of neglect and exploitation. Now, my fellow tenants and I succeeded in overturning anti-homeless legislation at the state level through the Missouri Supreme Court this past November, only to see legislative language be reintroduced this legislative season. Legislation that seeks to recriminalize unsheltered individuals and redirect funding from new permanent supportive housing and to sanction homeless encampments instead.
Will you pause this real quick?
No one can move forward with.
Okay, so if everybody would notice how bad homelessness has gotten in Springfield,
It's bad.
it's super bad in the past year, and this organization is fighting to make it worse, and they're upset that they're not having the political impact on like allocating money to the homeless, which, people will say I'm cruel and everything, but I'm telling you, Springfield, Missouri is a place that homeless people come to game because there's so many churches and so many charitable organizations. They gather here. Go to the square right now. There's somebody smacked out.
Whoa.
I said, go to the square right now. There's somebody smacked out on fentanyl, sleeping in the grass as we speak. There's tweakers in the pond, you know, and taxpayers pay money to be able to enjoy the perks of living in a city. And instead, we want to allocate taxpayer money to encourage homeless people to stay homeless. You know, this is what it is. Okay. If you get welfare or EBT or anything, you should be tested for alcohol and marijuana every week. Okay. And that might sound harsh, but 90% of these welfare and EBT participants would lose it tomorrow.
You also should not be allowed to buy shit like candy and soda pops, you know, shit like that.
Agreed.
With your EBT, you should be the government funded money that you're given should be used for healthy food, for produce, for meats, for stuff like that. It shouldn't be used towards useless shit that your body just doesn't need, like fucking Monster energy drinks. But
I think also, you know, if you go on unemployment or welfare, maybe you can do that for a month, 2 months, but after that, you should have to go to PenMac and be assigned a job.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. Anybody can get a job from PenMac.
I've actually have a really funny story about the homeless in Springfield. You know, they congregate around that, you know, square all the time. But the first time I ever saw them do that, it was like they kind of congregated in this little like African kind of village like scene, you know. One guy had like a whip and he was cracking it on the ground. Or he took like some kind of piece of trash and made it into a makeshift whip or something and was fucking around with it. And then we had this one girl, and when I was walking up by the sidewalk and past her, she like looked at me and said, "Don't you see the cameras in the sky? Don't you see the cameras in the sky?" So,
dude, yeah, okay. If we're telling homeless stories, like I live downtown, I saw the craziest shit. Like there was one homeless guy that was walking around with like a chain, like a big, like the chain was like that thick and like this long, and like he was walking around and wielding it as a weapon. Or one time, well, anytime you try to play music on South Street for tips, homeless people will congregate and try to claim that they're helping you, but they just all they do is scare people away and make them not want to give you money and make you look homeless. One particularly egregious example of this was me and my friend were playing music on South Street, and this dude walked up. He was going full Ghost Rider, Grayson says. Yeah, he really was. And, you know, I crossed the street. I'm not playing that game. Fuck that. Hell no. But we were playing music on the street, and we were making good tips that night. And this guy walked up and reached his grubby little homeless hand in there and pulled out money. And me and my buddy were both like, "Hey, what the fuck? Drop that." You know, and he dropped the money. And he was like, I can't. And we're like, "No, get the fuck out of here," you know? And he's like, and he looked at my friend and he said, "Don't think I don't remember you. Branson, toy store, toy store, toy store." And he just said that as he was walking away. And me and my friend like looked at each other and we're like, "What the fuck was that?"
How's your vacation going, Mark?
Yo, Marky Mark. Yeah, his Poppy Chulo commented on Facebook and said, "In Arizona with Mark." Yo, I hope Arizona is beautiful, boys. I hope you're enjoying your vacation.
What else was it? Actually, I made a request on Facebook. I asked people, you know, just for a different project that I can't reveal yet, but it is. I asked them what are the biggest issues facing Springfield right now, and we got quite a bit of pretty interesting stuff here.
I noticed multiple people said homelessness.
Bussy's not having enough gas pumps because there's too many crackheads, the 10,000 pounds of cheese. But, you know, a lot of it, it's...
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about the 10,000 pounds of cheese under the city. That's true. Yeah. We actually chipped that off of the moon and hit it.
Yeah, that was all... Well, the moon's not real. It's a Project Bluebeam projection.
Okay, Mark.
But... it's homelessness. The last street census said nearly 3,000 are unsheltered. Are you trying to find ways to get involved? Somewhat. Not really. To answer your question, I didn't really answer any questions on here, but
We're mostly just trying to help by saying, get a fucking job, get off drugs.
That's the thing. There's not really any kind of government way to motivate people into it. The people that want to be motivated, we should have a very clear and easy system to allow them to, get a house, a cheap house, cheap apartment, whatever, get off the drugs, and then find a job, easy.
What you
But
just said there too made me think of a point I've been meaning to make on this show. Housing is not a human right.
yeah,
It's not. You have to earn a house. Like you have to work to live in an apartment. Like you do not, like when you are born, you are not owed a house. I mean, like if your parents ought to let you live in their house for sure and raise you, but as an adult, nobody owes you anything. Okay. If you want something, you got to get out there and work for it. You live in a free country, baby, with lots of jobs and lots of lazy motherfuckers. You don't even have to be that technically skilled or good. You just have to be willing to work and consistent and show up on time. And you will rise to the top so fast, it'll make your head spin because so few people want to work and are willing to put in the time and show up on time.
But and this guy Forrest Swisher, he's kind of like I guess he's like a comedian or something. Springfield has been doing a lot of things right lately, but the main issues are homelessness and an ineffectiveness of the police department. We need better social structures to address the issues the unhoused face, and that will alleviate a lot of the pressure on the police, and then get even more funding towards organizations and causes that can further help out police by preventing problems before they become dangerous and mitigating them without force. And the roads, fix the roads.
Yeah, the fact that he uses unhoused makes me not care about his opinion. Like, why are we trying to protect the feelings of street dwelling drug addicts that would like rob you if they had a chance?
I mean, that's the thing. A lot of them are just like really like crazy schizophrenic people. And like, I think the only way that we can fix that is just to put them in a mental hospital and get them off the drugs.
That's the truth. Okay. I think it was like the 80s, they got rid of all the mental institutions. And now there's homeless people out freezing to death in the winter. If you care about homeless people, we need to bring back like mental institutions, not do like lobotomies or anything. But some people have mental illnesses that cannot function in society. And giving them
schizophrenia, like paranoid schizophrenia or DID. Like, well, DID is a weird thing.
We should pull up Mark's comment here. He says, housing prices are insane, though. A guy I work with made $178,000 profit off a house he owned for 4 years. Yeah, the inflation has jacked everything up so crazy that like
it is insane. I'm more of an apartment guy myself, though, kind of.
Wait, and low income housing exists, and that's what Stun's on here bitching about. And let's look at Grayson's comment, and then I want to get back to old John Bird here. He says, "Oh, for sure, there's a lot of people trying to get a lot of money for properties that should be valued at a lot less. Not to mention the application fees with no guarantee of a callback. Yeah, persistency is key, and there is red tape and there's all kinds of stuff. But the point is, if you make good decisions and you are disciplined, you're going to be all right." Okay. But people that make bad decisions and are not disciplined and don't try to master themselves, they're going to end up homeless. They're going to end up distraught. They're going to end up at city council asking for handouts and complaining about the house that they live in. Let's watch a little bit more of this. We'll explain his situation here in a second.
Going to school, gaining employment, or pursuing healthcare when they are forced to live in outdoor parking lot encampments during the heat of summer in the harsh Missouri weather. We need a housing.
Let's go, Grayson. Solution. That's awesome.
It was very disheartening to witness the indifference of our city leaders toward the plight of their own constituents, prioritizing buying a stadium over ensuring that every citizen has a roof over their head.
Not a human right.
Let me be clear. Springfield tenants refuse to be regulated to the sidelines as mere statistics or inconveniences. We are a multiracial, multi-generational constituency that goes to school, work hard, and serves our community. We are integral members of the city, just as deserving of dignity, respect, and opportunity as any other constituency. We are not the disinterested, politically inactive, transient community I have heard some of this council try to paint us out to be.
The homeless are.
It is time for our voices to be not just heard, but actively listened to as it relates to improving Springfield overall. and Springfield's housing situation specifically. We demand action. We demand that safe, truly accessible, and permanent affordable housing become not just a talking point, but City Council's top priority, an urgent impairment that cannot
Priority.
be brushed aside or delayed any longer. Rental licensing, rental inspections, and a right to counsel to ensure fair eviction court proceedings are not luxuries, but essential protections that every individual, regardless of their circumstances, deserves. We call upon you, our city leaders, to heed our demands and work tirelessly to ensure that every person in our community has safe, accessible, truly affordable place to call home, a sanctuary where they can rebuild their lives with dignity and hope. Thank you.
Pause. Okay, so I used to be in a band with this guy, and one of the other speakers that's coming up is called Unessential Jane. I think it's still a band. I've played a bunch of music with John. He's honestly a nice guy. John, if you see this and you want to come on the show and debate, you're welcome. Anybody, literally anybody, if you want to come on the show, we will let you on the show. If you want to tell me I'm wrong, if you want to like stroke my ego and tell me that I'm amazing and I'm saying the things nobody else will say, definitely get you on the show then. But you know, obviously I'm joking, but anybody, if you want to come on the show, come on the show. And, but here's the thing with John Bird. When I used to rehearse with him, he was married to this good Christian woman. He had like 4 kids running around the house. He had his drum kit set up right in the front living room and all the band stuff. And his wife would allow us to practice just super loud in the front room, which like even my cool friends that I'm in bands with, their wives don't allow that. Like this woman was obviously very chill. He left his wife and abandoned his kids to go hang out with patchouli smoking dope heads and be an activist for Stun and try to be like a musician for a living. And now he's complaining to the city council about the conditions of his low income housing that he has to live in since he divorced his wife and abandoned his kids. Like, dude, you dug your own grave. Now fucking lay in it. Okay. If you don't like that, maybe get a real job and don't try to be a full-time musician for a living. Okay. That's incredibly hard to do. And it will make you very shallow. You know, musicians are some of the dumbest, like most like go along with shit people ever. Like they'll just keep their voice shut. Oh man, I just want to call out so many fucking people. I really do.
Do it.
Dude, like Devlin Pierce, like, right? Like this little open mic scene that I got kicked out of. Devlin Pierce is like just as conservative in his beliefs as I am, yet he fucking just like says the shit that they want to hear so he can hang out with them. It's like you guys are sellouts and you're selling your soul and you're selling your guys a short for what? So you can have your back patted by some like mediocre musicians at an open mic and you guys can pretend that you're a family. Like grow up, grow the fuck up. I mean, like, especially John, like go back, raise your children. What are you doing? Like, what the hell are you doing? Honestly,
the thing about like jobs like musicians, like I feel like I really jumped the goat with the, you know, whatever it's called, jump the ship from that, you know, because
jump the shark is
jump the shark. That's the term. Okay. Yeah. I really jumped the shark because I wanted to be like a web designer, and then I wanted to be like an artist or an animator. And yeah, that didn't really go through because I started to think a little bit, and it's like, I'm not really going to make any money off of this. Like, I'm probably not going to find a job. I'm probably not going to be able to, you know, find any kind of sustainable way to make like consistent income off of that. And, you know, I'm right. You know, a few years later now, we got AI that's able to generate any image, any animation you want. You got AI that can write code for you. Like, dude, like those jobs are becoming useless now. And I'm not saying that artists will like be shoved out of the way, but it's artists and animators have always been a job that's just like you're either making just a little bit of money off of commission or you're getting a lot of money based off of like an already pre-existing like record or luck. Pure luck. There's absolutely no there's skill in animation. You have to be good at it, but it's pure luck that a corporation is going to choose you to actually like animate for their TV show.
Absolutely. And you know, there are like, if you want to be an artist and pursue that, go for it. But in my experience, like people who who try to like put themselves fully into that position, they struggle with their mental health. They get addicted to drugs. They start like I've literally known people that start doing like witchcraft and blood rituals and just like they get into the most weird hoodoo. But there are like very admirable and respectable artists. So I shouldn't catch like a whole thing, but it's a very hard career, but like so many musicians just end up like this, like, oh, I'm gonna be an activist, I'm gonna be a leftist activist, and I bet that goes over really well in the scene. Can we go ahead and fast forward
too about leftist activists? A lot of them are just doing it for the money. Like they're not, I'm sure they believe in this stuff that they're preaching, but it's like they're not trying to be like the saviors of the world. They're trying to make a quick buck, they're not.
Most of them for sure. Can we jump ahead in the city council video and see Karina's little speech she gives?
Karina, what's she look like?
She's like short and has dark hair and like some facial piercings and stuff. And it's just funny to me because it's like, I've been a dirty hippie. All of these people I've gotten super high with, played a bunch of music with, talked about God knows what, had many conversations. Oh, that was her. I guess she dyed her hair. I haven't seen her in a while. But
was that her? I thought it was this other girl. This one.
I think that's Sarah. Okay, and Sarah is the ditziest, most like airheaded girl I've ever met, and she's a leader of this organization. The letter, either one will do.
There we go.
There you go.
Jane, I'm a leader with Springfield Tenants Unite.
And she's a leader too.
Tenant Union.
And if you pause real quick, like I feel like one of the split in me and Karina's relationship was we were hanging out at a friend's house, like her boyfriend's house, and she was like talking about her beliefs and how she believes she is God and I am God. And everybody's, just God disguised and like in skin and, like this namaste kind of shit where, and I just told her, I would be a very bad God. You're all fortunate that I am not God because I'd be a bad God. It's very good for humanity that I am a mortal creature and not a God with unlimited power. But anyways.
I moved to Springfield in 2019, and since my move, every single home I've lived in has had some sort of wood rot, mildew, mold, or other unsafe condition. I've canvassed in town and talked to other residents who are living in even worse places. Some apartments in town have birds or bats infesting the walls. People are struggling to get any help from their landlord, whether it's a private entity or a large corporation. I believe rental unit licensing and inspections are important and beneficial for all Springfield citizens. And I'm very confused on why black mold, mildew, and other toxins are not recognized and addressed as the safety hazard they truly are. Why is tall grass a problem that comes with swift enforcement, but the roof rotting and falling over my head is perfectly fine? Why do tenants have fear of being evicted for speaking out? What does that really say about the city's leaders' priorities? I envision and crave a Springfield where every home has safe air to breathe, accessibility, affordability, and accountability, where our city council leaders and landlords see renters as humans instead of just a paycheck or a nuisance. City council needs to make safe, accessible, truly affordable housing a priority. Brandon Jensen asked the mayor if we can come to a consensus at the last luncheon whether housing should be a priority in Springfield. He replied with, "We're just not there yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves." Well, I beg to differ. Brandon, Monica, I encourage you to keep agitating our city council and everyone in this room. Agitate our Springfield city leaders.
Please make sure to direct your comments to the whole of council, not individual members.
All of everyone in this room.
We pause this, Leighton.
I beg to differ.
So Brandon and Monica are obviously people that they have some kind of sway with that are like leftists. And Brandon is that new guy in the gay little bow tie that speaks here in a minute that like, he's like my age. And I wish he wasn't a city council person. I don't take him seriously. He doesn't seem like a serious person. And he's got like, I don't know, dead eyes, so to speak. But, I saw Grayson said, I don't disagree with this yet. And it's like, I get it. People shouldn't. Well, first of all, if you got black mold in your apartment and you're addressing city council about it, probably take some pictures and let them be passed around. Okay. Because that is a real issue. That's a serious issue. But also, like why do you have to live in low income housing? You know, like there's
She works at Starbucks.
I don't think she works at Starbucks. I don't know where she works anymore. She used to work at like this like Chinese restaurant or whatever.
There you go. That's why.
But even then, if you're not spending all your money on pot and like music equipment and like extra crap, if you're like budgeting well, you can live in a normal apartment. Like, why do you have to use taxpayer funds to live in? Like, why do you need assistance? You have all of your fingers, all of your toes, your arms. You're not a schizophrenic that can't even get off the street. It's like you are a capable human being. If you live in low income housing for more than like a year, that's on you. You know, that's plenty of time to get your feet under you and figure something out. I want to go to some Facebook comments because I was not looking at them, and we have a only got
2 on mine.
So Josh says, oh shit. Josh says homelessness is a drug and mental health issue. As long as they maintain their own guardianship, there is nothing that can be done other than incarceration. I agree 100%, you know, and it's unfortunate, but it's like a lot of people need caretakers, can't take care of themselves. Curtis Abbott says, reconcile rationalism. Hello, friend. I don't know what he means by that. He says artists and animators will still have a meaningful place in the world that is reasonably paid.
They won't.
I wish that was true, but I'm not convinced.
They're not reasonably paid. They are like, they don't even make that much off of what they do, and even the amount that they get paid is not enough. Like, I mean, I guess like some of the bigger animators like make a lot of money, but if you're just like some random Joe Schmo wanting to become an animator, you're not gonna really get far ahead, you know. I don't think.
I mean, and it's just true for art in general. It's like millions and millions of people want to be artists. Very few people will put in the work and dedicate the time and shuck off every normal goal that people have, like having a family and children and a home. Like you will have to sacrifice so many things that will make your life fulfilling to be a successful artist. And even still, the chances of you becoming one are very slim. Joshua Poole says the state hospital in Nevada was closed during the early 2000s. The hospital served individuals with mental illness who were committed by the state. Therefore, they had their guardianship terminated. Once closed down, their guardianship was restored, or they were put on public administrator caseload. See, and this is what I'm talking about. If you want to get homeless people off the street, if you care about the mentally ill, it's like we need insane asylums, essentially. Like I said, we don't need lobotomies and stuff, but we need people with empathy that are caretakers to have guardianship for these people that can't take care of themselves. We need somebody to make them brush their teeth and make their bed and show up for breakfast and go on a walk and be outside. Like they literally need to be treated like children. That's unfortunate, but that is the world that we live in.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, you know, it's just like, and I think a lot of it is like how people are raising their kids too. They're not raising them to have like these basic like things that they need to know before they go out and live on their own. I feel like maybe.
Yes, absolutely. And the education system's not either. We're too busy teaching DEI and how to be tolerant that people don't even know how to be strong and have a strong will and be individuals and take care of themselves. Like I never learned. Like I had a basic business class in school, and that was a pretty good class, I suppose. But so much stuff in school is just filler, and so many teachers don't even like kids. I'm like, why are you a teacher? Like I had so many grown ass adults when I was a kid in school that resented me with like adult resentment, and I was a child with issues at home trying to figure my shit out, you know. So yeah, and you know, everybody's heard the quote. I think what is it? Strong men make good times make weak men make hard times make strong men.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving into hard times. So all you soft ass bitches better get ready because it's going down. Okay, let's watch some more of this.
For Springfield city leaders as to why Springfield residents, the right to safe and dignified homes aren't a priority to them. Housing is a human right. Do you believe that? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any
Housing
questions?
is a human right. Do you believe that? Emphatically, no, not a human right. You are not owed a house by the state. And by the state, I mean you are not owed a house from my taxes. I work my ass off, and the state sends it to low income housing, and then the federal government sends it to Israel and Ukraine to fight proxy wars. Fuck off. Let's have another tea party. Quit spending my taxes on shit that have nothing to do with me. I'm a contributing member of society. As like, I don't owe anybody anything, and nobody owes you anything. This is a free country. You live in the greatest, freest country in the world, and you have the most opportunities of anybody. Get off your lazy fucking ass and get to work. Get to work. No, housing is not a human right.
It's such a waste of like life too.
We got
Not saying that people are a waste of life, but like, I mean, it's just you're wasting your life away.
You're wasting your own life.
You're doing nothing. You're asking for people to give you handouts instead of working for it.
Oh, okay. So on Facebook, the dude made a misspeak and said race channel, and you commented on it a brief aside. I see what you're saying, Curtis. I got you. Yeah, I thought that was funny. And like I said, it does take balls to get up in front of the city council, but you made yourself a public figure, so now it's fair game for me to talk shit about you. Ha 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 ha. And Matt Gillian, a very interesting guy. Matt, if you want to hop on the stream, I'll send you the link right now. He says he wants to ask a question. Let's get Matt on stream.
Let's get him.
Let's get him. Up. I gotta hit my little. He's a very interesting guy. Me and him have spoke a little bit on Facebook. I'm not actually sure how we know each other, but we've been talking for a while, and he makes some very insightful comments. But yes, Matt, you can ask me a question. Let me send you this link. You can get on your FaceTime on your phone, and
yes,
come on
Grace,
the show.
and it is one of the 3 things that organisms need to survive. But you have to remember that if you aren't strong enough to get any one of the 3 resources to survive, then it's natural selection at that point.
Well, and this is something when it comes to like these proxy wars we're fighting. Like if Ukraine can't exist without our money, they don't deserve to exist. Sorry, if Israel can't defend themselves from foreign invaders with the most technologically advanced border wall that's ever been invented, sorry, you don't deserve to have a country. It's not our country's job to protect your border. We can't even protect our own border. So I sent Matt the link. Hopefully he'll hop on. I'd love to talk to him because I have questions I want to ask him.
And if it's an animal, like, I mean, even then, like if an animal can't hunt properly, it's gonna die. Like that's like you have to suffer to build resilience and come to understanding that you have to get off your ass and do something.
100%. And I don't think humans are animals. I mean, we're biological creatures, but we have souls. But the same principles apply. Like the world is a hard, cruel, fallen place. Okay. And you have to be shrewd, and you have to figure out how to navigate in the world. And you have to be accountable, if not to anybody else, to yourself, So, no. I'm trying to look at comments on Facebook and it's playing back at me. Okay, here we go. Let's see if he's going to hop on or not. Matt, if you don't want to get on the stream, just go ahead and ask your question in the comments. Anyhow, let's continue with this video for now.
Yes. Alrighty.
Because I do want to show a little bit of Sarah Barnes, because it's just like, let's see if they do any questions. Go ahead and play this out a little bit. If they
Thank you.
Yep.
Sarah Barnes.
There was actually a really interesting person that we saw last night.
Okay, go ahead.
Pull him up. Not her.
Council has stated price.
100 a month. Is that a
And how many square foot?
Guess I'd
Might
say
even get a look at that one guy you're talking about too. He's right here. The guy with the bow tie.
I think he asks somebody some questions. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it is the interesting looking guy that he asks questions to. Yeah, do play that. Yeah, this individual here. Right, be nice.
Don't laugh, but
Just kidding.
I think-
saying be nice is.
and we actually looked it up earlier and we saw that these ribbons, they represent the colorectal cancer and scoliosis or something like that. Which isn't funny, but you know, to fuck up mind like ours.
I actually guessed that it was rectal cancer. Isn't that right?
Got it right. That was funny.
And council members, thank you for letting me speak to you today.
Let's not listen to his whole thing. He seems like he's actually got some serious problems. I don't want to mock this guy, but like, I do want to have a better look at that. Yes, at the city council person and his
Reynolds
response.
and Richard's legal rights that are will have other to talk about.
Oh, I didn't even notice he had painted nails.
Would you like a bottle of water?
No, it's okay.
Councilor Jensen.
Here, pause this real quick.
Tim,
Well, if you feel like we're criticizing you, Grayson, don't. I'm not criticizing you directly, but like, if you feel like, you know, these things I'm saying relate to you, then this advice is for anybody. Like, I know you worked with me the other day. You came and you did a fine job, and I know you have some health issues and stuff, but like, bro, get to work, you know, make that money, do what you can. Like, you're a capable young man.
Hey, we got a special little guy down here.
Okay, yeah. Let's pull him up. Yo.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, are
Good,
you?
man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
First of all, Jacob, the way you know me is through Mason Skaggs. I don't know if you remember that, but yeah. Mutts, what was it?
Midwest Mutts.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how you know me. But I just wanted to jump on here. This is not really like necessarily a political thing, but I just kind of wanted to share a story about my son really quick. That's something that happened on the bus. He rides the bus on occasion when I can't take him to school. I'm a single dad. I have sole custody. I don't have any help from his mom. So basically what happened was my son was on the bus. Another student was getting beat up, and he basically pulled the person that was beating the other student up off of him. And so he got kicked off the bus for 2 weeks for helping a kid getting beat up.
Wow. Well, yeah, dude, and that. I feel like that does relate to kind of the topic we were talking about, where, you know, the school in particular is like geared towards young girls, and if you do anything that a young boy might do, you are punished for it. And
I mean, what kind of message does that send to kids, like to not do the right thing? I mean, as a human being, if I'm walking down the street and I see somebody getting beat up in front of me, I don't care what color you are, what nationality, anything. I'm going to step in and try to help out, you know, the best that I can. I mean, especially in a school setting, when you're talking about young kids on a bus, you know what I mean? Like, he was trying to help the driver out because the driver is trying to drive, right? And this kid's getting beat up. So he pulls the kid off and he gets punished for doing the right thing. And he's the only kid on the bus that did that.
That's unbelievable, dude.
Stuff like that happened back when I was in school too. Like, the thing about it is that schools are like really like the people that run them aren't kind of like in the proper place to manage a school like Springfield and stuff like that. Like, I mean, let alone even a small town school.
I live in a town of 20,000 people in Kansas. I live in a very small, tight-knit community. And to kind of tell more about the story, my son came to me 2 days ago and he said, Dad, the bus driver, she pulled me to the side today and said that she's sorry. She shouldn't have wrote me up. She was just taking her anger out on me.
Wow.
I get that kind
Here's the question I'm asking myself, right? And it's Friday night, like obviously school's closed till Monday. Like, I felt really wanting to call the school and just complain and be mad and all this, but really, I mean, the bus is out of control, dude. And
Yes.
I feel bad for the driver. And like, if I call and complain on her, then what if they don't have a driver? You know, like what's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? It's challenging as a father, you know, and knowing what I would do in that situation. I absolutely wasn't mad at my kid about it. I told him he did the right thing, and I'm sorry he got in trouble for it. I had a conversation with the principal, and the principal was like, from what I saw in the video, he didn't even really do anything. All he did was grab the kid by the backpack and pull him off.
Right. And that's what I was going to say is like I would recommend going through those bureaucratic channels and throwing a fit, dude. Like throw a fit. They're not going to fire that bus driver.
Well,
They're
I
not
would
going
talk
to.
I would talk to the school board about it. You know.
Well, and the school
Well,
buses
you know,
do have the
people. I'm a videographer, right? Full time.
Yeah.
I work with the city, and what is with the fireworks?
What
I
happened? It's
Are you
weird.
doing that to him, Leighton? What is that?
No.
What was that?
Wow. I guess it likes that you're a videographer.
My hands. I didn't push it. What was that?
Your magic, Matt.
That was weird.
That was weird.
I have absolutely no idea what that was.
But
So they have the school bus video.
yeah, but I'm not allowed to see the video. I can
That's
only
bullshit.
Yeah, I can't see the video. I'm not allowed to.
That's total bullshit. Like you need to make a big stink about this.
Well,
And this
dude,
is the problem.
My son is like almost a straight A student. His worst grade is a B+. You know, he's an
Wow.
athlete. Like he's a stand-up kid. Like he does what's right. And it's really just saddening to see that kids are being punished for doing the right thing. What kind of message is that sending to the next generation? And this is just a situation I'm dealing with in a small town in Kansas, in the middle of nowhere, really.
That's insane, dude. Because
How many other places is going on? I mean, I don't know, but
we had a guest on called Queen City Watchdog, and he pointed our attention to all of these fights happening in Springfield schools and all of this violence between students. And it's just.
Are you guys getting flicker on my screen?
No.
Not too bad.
It looks like it's coming through good.
But you know, it's like the schools are getting worse, and I honestly I realize that it's not realistic for most people, and I'm not a father. I don't even have a girlfriend right now, you know, so it's easy for me to say, oh, public school's fucked, pull your kids out of public school and homeschool them, but most people don't have that much time. Most people do have to work full time.
Well, yeah, and I mean, dude, and if you're not a parent, and then it's probably not your place to speak on it to an extent, but at the same time, like everybody's, you know, has the right to their own opinion. And I have no quarrel with that. But
well, I think you should make a big stink about it. And you know, you could say I don't have a right to an opinion because of it. But I think a big problem with people that believe in truth and believe in justice, we're too nice. And you know, it's always the leftists that are like concerned with evil, that are willing.
Last.
Do what?
Nice guys always finish last kind of thing.
Right. Well, we are willing to like get along and not make a scene and not kowtow. Meanwhile, people advocating for evil will get on a podium and make a big deal about it until they get what they want. It's like, it's time for people that believe in the truth and believe in justice to stand up for themselves, to stand up for their children, and to go through these bureaucratic channels, even though it's annoying, and make a fuss and make a stink and make it a big deal, because this is a big deal. You know, I don't know what your schedule's like. I don't know if you need him to be able to ride the bus twice a week. You know, that's going to be difficult for you to sort out. That's going to take time and effort and resources. You're going to have to find him a ride. You know, it's bullshit. That kind of thing is upsetting to me.
Nothing that I can't figure out, but you know, he's not really had any issues on the bus, so it's never been a problem. So it's just like whatever. They pick him up, you know, right here by my house, and it's just, you know, it's nice sometimes to have that convenience when I need it as a single dad. And, you know, I want to point something else out that happened earlier in the year. I told you earlier, my son plays football, right? Well, he works closely with the quarterback. He's the guy that snaps the ball to the quarterback. So
nice.
Apparently they had some sort of a quarrel at school, and they tried to jump my son in the bathroom, the quarterback and some other kid.
That's where a lot of these fights happen.
Instead of calling the school and like raising a big stink, you know, the community doesn't even know about this. It's the first time I've even talked about it publicly,
dude.
But I called the kid's mom, and I told her what happened, and she was pissed off, dude. She was so mad. His dad was mad, and never had another problem. So it's like, I think involving the system or the government or this or that is not always the right answer either.
Agreed.
sometimes you can just work things out as parents with other parents if they're, willing to do that. I could have easily have called the school and got that kid in a lot of trouble, dude. I could have got him probably kicked out of school.
Right.
But instead of doing that, like he was probably dealing with something that I don't know about.
Right.
Something internally, something with his parents. I don't know the whole story. I don't need to know it.
That's very wise, actually.
But I tried to handle it, in the best manner. And I told his mom, like, hey, I don't want to get the school involved. Is it cool if we just handle this as parents? And if it continues to happen, then I'll have to escalate it. But I don't want to do that. And I don't think it's necessary. And it wasn't. And it's not been a problem to this day.
With what you're saying, if you're able to get your son to school, I think the important thing, I wish that you'd make a city watchdog the story. He could post about it. We could post about it. We could make it a big deal if you wanted. But the important thing is that I'm sure you've already had this conversation with your son where you tell him he did the right thing.
No, absolutely 100%. Like if I told him not to help somebody that's in dire, like somebody getting beat up by somebody, dude, I would do the same thing. Even if I get beat up in the process, and I've done that before. I've been in the middle of stuff and it cost my ass because I got, but I did the right thing. I mean, as human beings, we should care about each other.
Absolutely.
The planet that I live on, dude. And it's really sad kind of the way the world's going right now.
I mean, it's going in a really bad direction.
The kids have it the worst,
Yes.
And like, as I'm almost 40, and people that are 40, 50, 60, always want to point the finger, but never take the blame. While they're just letting their kids do whatever they want to do, you know what I mean? Let them watch YouTube videos or violent stuff all the time.
Get on TikTok.
I mean, this is the result of the 40, 50, 60-year-old, you know what I mean? This is a result of that, in my opinion. And I'm willing to take the blame myself. There's times that I put my kid on a video game just so he doesn't bother me, or, you know what I mean? Like when I want to have my own time to watch YouTube videos. I'm not perfect, but I'm just saying it is building up, and we're seeing the results of that, in my opinion. Again, everything that I say is my opinion. I'm not saying this is how it is or should be. Anything that I say is my opinion, my right to say, and it doesn't go further than that.
Free speech, baby.
And that reminds me of the World Peace sketch we showed the other episode about how kids are, being affected by this stuff. And it's just like, especially it's both from society itself and parents. Like I think society has a major influence on kids, though, because they're going to public school, and that's where they're learning everything from. About 90% of a kid's time is being spent at a public school. So when that system isn't working and it's not perfected, then it's going to ruin that kid's life. Like, I mean,
is it right to blame the teachers, though, or does it start with the parents? I mean, it's really hard to find people willing to step up and deal with kids now because they're just difficult, dude. Like I've seen so many problems with, even in a town of 20,000 people in Kansas, where you think it would be really wholesome and chill. It's not, dude. And it's super weird to me because, like, growing up as a kid, like, I got bullied and picked on at times. I bullied other kids, and whatever, everybody does it, but
bullying builds resilience.
It seems like now just the way things are handled is different than it used to be. And I'd like to see it change, but I don't have an answer. Like, I don't know what could fix it other than it starting at home with the parents. I mean, you can only blame the teachers and stuff so much.
Well, dude, the teachers are culpable, and it's like the parents are the ones, deciding. Like, I mean, you picked the house that you live in. You kind of chose the school district and stuff, and there was intention behind that. And it's like, yeah, you're responsible for raising your kids, but I mean, do you have any idea? Like maybe this doesn't matter to you, but I would be worried about the political opinions of the educators that my kid has to spend time with every day and what they are trying to get across to these children. Like, how do you even teach biology in a world?
You're talking about personal agenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which matters.
That can absolutely be a thing. But I think that...
Well, and curriculum too. How do you teach biology in a world where it's politically incorrect to say that men are men and women are women?
Here's the problem with this, right? we don't live in a perfect world, Jacob. They're going to deal with this at school. They're going to deal with it at work, like inclusive environments, things like this. I think it's good for them to be able to get all the information and decide for themselves what they believe or don't believe, and that starts with the parents at home. And what, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I think there's a limit.
Older, they make up their own decisions on what they believe or don't believe. But I don't think it's a bad thing for them to be exposed to that, because it's gonna happen their whole life, dude.
That's true. But when you're young, you're so impressionable. And like, I'll give you a little, this is anecdotal because it's from my own life.
Because I can't even see the comments or anything that's going on right now. So
well, let's read some Facebook comments. We'll see what's happening here. I don't know.
I hope I'm not pissing anybody off, because I'm not trying to.
I hope you are. It makes the show more interesting. Let's see. Curtis Abbott says the fact that the world, people are still commenting. Okay, we're getting new comments as I speak. I'm trying to. Okay, he said, the fact that the world is a hard place is true. That does not mean that we have to be hardened and self-centered to the degree that we disregard the needs of others. The real issue is not potential support being given to other nations, but he's talking about, because I said Israel can not have our money. But I will finish reading his comment. The real issue is not potential support being given to other nations, but when significant covert corruption is in place in our national choices. And then he added, most likely they were unclear on the specific role your son played in the fight. Well, and this is something I wanted to say too, where there's a zero tolerance policy. When I was in Willard, I graduated in 2015.
I've lived in Willard before. I'm familiar with it.
So the school, and this is true in every school, there's a zero tolerance policy where it doesn't matter if you are the aggressor or not, both people in the fight are being kicked out. And I think that's bullshit. Like, that doesn't really make sense to me. It never has.
When the bus driver apologized to my son and she said that she didn't mean to write him up and she shouldn't have written him up, I mean, that kind of, you're kind of riding the line there. I mean, I could make us think about it if I wanted to, but he's already been kicked off the bus for 2 weeks. We've already gotten through it. They need the bus driver. If anything, I should probably walk down there with my son one morning and just have a conversation with her personally.
That might be wise, actually.
Just so it doesn't happen to another kid, because I'm not trying to cause problems, to be honest. And I actually do a lot of work with the city too. So I'm kind of in a weird situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds challenging. And it is such a weird thing. It must be so weird to be a parent nowadays with your kid being in public school, because it's just like, you can't control the flow of information, and nobody ever has been able to. Like, in every generation, even in the 1960s, there was greasers with switchblades smoking cigarettes by their pickup trucks or whatever. But like, now everybody has the access to the World Wide Web and every opinion all over the world, pornography. Like, children are just exposed. Like, I think I saw a statistic where like children are being exposed like to pornography at like the age of 8, and it's not very uncommon anymore. Even myself.
Well, you've got all these, these little tricks and stuff on TikTok, where they're doing weird little things just so you click on their link tree, and then next thing
OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see that on Twitter too a lot. People's little link trees and stuff.
Smut is everywhere, and it's unregulated.
The thing about OnlyFans though is that it's kind of has been seeping into where it is affecting kids, even to the mothers of the kids. Like, I've seen photos on Facebook and Twitter of like mothers having like their OnlyFans tag like on the back of their van and shit while they're dropping off their kids at school. Like, society's degrading, and it's I know that sounds like a Joker kind of thing, but it really is kind of getting bad. And like, sure. I mean, like I might be a doomer in this, but there's like hope, I guess.
Dogs always help with views. Come on.
Yeah.
What's up?
Here.
I might be a doomer in this, but it's like, society will get better. I feel like, it's just, you have to be strong and resilient.
I'm optimistic. I am.
No matter how bad the world is, it takes you to change the way that your world is, kind of going out.
I think it's important to remember like what you can and can't control. Like, you can control what you teach your kids. You can't control what another kid does to your kid. Right. I mean, and to think that it starts with the parents, man. It starts with where they're at, where they spend all their time, at home. And I think that for people to just sit back and point the finger at the school system constantly, like, it just makes me kind of sick, really, because, dude, like, honestly, there's a lot of good people in the school system that are trying to do their best, and they're against all odds right now. Their cards are against them,
Yes.
and it sucks because people aren't signing up to do it anymore. Like, what's going to happen when we don't have enough teachers anymore? Then what?
Right.
Then who do we blame?
I feel like I feel like we are kind of running dry on teachers, especially after the pandemic. Maybe like 90% of the teachers I had the year before the pandemic weren't there the year after, or quit like a few years after. The quitting rate on teachers, I've heard, is like astronomical, and that's because they're not getting paid, enough to do the job that they are tasked with. And it's like I don't know if they need like a pay increase or something, but it's like, of course.
I don't think a pay increase is the answer. And honestly, I think that the public education system has been failing for a long time, and it is destined to fail, and it will, and we'll have to form something new. And I kind of am of the opinion at this point, like, because public school is almost just like a free babysitter at this point. Like, I think, like, kids would better
Babysitter.
do what?
A bad one.
Yeah, the shittiest babysitter, I think that in the future, and honestly, I think kids would be better off, like, this might sound crazy, but like going to work with their parents and learning the trade that they do. And
dude, my kid like helps me out on video shoots all the time.
I love that.
I
think that's the future.
I know how to fly drones. I told him, when you turn 16, you can have your own business. You don't have to worry about college. Like, you can already like have something established that I can hand to you. So yeah,
well, I want to combat this idea that teachers are underpaid. Okay, so teachers they get paid for doing nothing all summer, and they try to say things like, "Oh, I have to create the curriculum." They create their curriculum 1 year, and then they just play the hits for 10 years.
ChatGPT.
Exactly.
And it's not just that too, I guess. It's also like you're never going to really run out of teachers. But then the reason why is because they're just going to find some liberal teacher that's going to, teach your kids about all this stupid shit like LGBT and, all that shit. But it's like the good teachers that we have now, I feel like if they were, to apply for the job of being a teacher now, they probably would not have gotten the job,
Let me ask you this. Do you guys think that you could be a teacher?
No.
I wouldn't want to be.
I couldn't. Like, so I'm not going to judge or talk shit because, dude, it's a tough job. And I don't think they get paid enough, especially now. Kids are just disrespectful, dude. Everything is funny and prank. They're watching Ross Creations and crap all day, which I love it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I just don't think they really take themselves serious nowadays.
The thing is that it's the teachers that are like not like they have this crazy amount of like pressure on them.
Right.
The what is it? You got the parents that are like just like not like teaching their kids right and not, like taking care of their kids properly. And then they're sending those kids to school and, you got the curriculum that's
imagine like a rabid dog, right? Imagine a dog that's like, you just take it and drop it off at school, and other kids are like dropping off the dog that's super chill and calm,
Mm-hmm.
You've got all these different things going on.
Yeah. And then add the new curriculums and stuff and all that, and teachers that are underpaid. It's like the public school system is just like really fucked up now. And
it's headed for a heartbreak. Like, I honestly don't know how it can sustain the way that it's going. And
I would say put your kid in a private school.
It's not. It's just not. It's a matter of time, in my opinion. But what's the answer is the question. If you're going to talk about the problem, you might as well have an answer. And if you don't, then what are we talking about?
I would say private schools.
Private school, homeschool.
Yeah, homeschool co-ops, like like anything that's state regulated, we should try to move away from. Honestly, we should
Yes.
not rely on the state to like.
And I understand that people
anything for
need
us.
to have that, but like, there's still private
You can't
schools.
just eliminate the state out of the picture. That's just not realistic. I know it sounds good, but that's just really
I
not.
don't want to eliminate the state. Like I don't want the state to go away, but I want to encourage people to not rely on the state to educate their children, to give them money for food, to and I'm not criticizing you. I understand you're a single father and you have to rely on the public school system.
The
and
only
you're doing the
problem
best
I
you
have
can.
with your opinion, Jacob, is that you're not a parent and you're talking about something that you've never really personally experienced. You're just speaking through the lens, which
But in
I
principle, what I'm saying makes sense, does it not?
to some extent. I just don't think it's realistic to completely eliminate it because there's too many families that rely on it, dude. I mean,
I'm not saying take it away. I'm just saying
in a perfect world, there it goes again. I think it's the finger things that did that.
I don't know. Do it again. Try.
Hang on. I swear that's what it was because that's what I did. And then anyway,
Yeah. Well, what were you saying?
I was just saying in a perfect world,
we live in a
all
fallen world.
kids would have parents that gave them good guidance that didn't need help from the state. But dude, there's just too many that rely on it for it to be removed. And there's been times in my life where I needed it, and help when I first got my son. The state kind of saved my ass, dude, with like food stamps and with other things. And when I got custody of my kid, dude, like I was totally lost. I didn't even have a car. Like I used to walk my kid to school in the rain with an umbrella. And I'm honest enough to say that right now on live because I don't, like where we're at now is totally different. But like me and my son went through that journey together. And so there was a lot of times where I needed that help. And until you go through it, dude, you don't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Well, man, you are the one that is for. You're you're like 5% of people that use that. Most people are gaming the system and abusing it. You are like in the minority of people who actually need it and used it and got on your feet and did it and don't just live off of it.
Custody either. So yeah,
Do what?
I'm definitely not the status quo. But that's why it's there, right? Is for people. It's not meant to be abused, but how do you stop people from abusing it is the answer.
Limits.
You can't. Like, I mean, you're either just going to have to have more
yada, yada, yada. I mean, maybe you have to meet certain expectations or things to get it. I mean,
I think you should be sober, completely sober. I was saying this at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you caught this. I was saying this at the very beginning of the show. I think if you're going to receive welfare or EBT, that you should be drug tested and you should be drug tested for marijuana and alcohol because if you can afford either of those things, okay, you're fine.
I don't think marijuana should be something that should be added to that personally.
Well, dude,
if
how
you're
many
medically exempt, then that's fine. But it's like, I mean, if you're just
marijuana is legal in Missouri for one.
So is alcohol. Yeah. But if you don't have enough money to provide food for your children, you should not be getting fucking high or drunk.
The thing is that if it's if it's medical, then you can just medically exempt it. But like, if you're recreational smoking weed, then you should not need food stamps. You should be using your weed money on stuff like food, healthy food, not Monster Energy drinks, not candy, not stupid shit like that, not going to the gas station and getting like a Coke, Like I work at a gas station. I see people all the time buy stupid shit like that with VBT.
I agree with what you're saying, Leighton. Let Matt get into this.
No, you're right. You're right. It is very much abused and that sucks. But I mean, like, again, like it comes down to regulation. Like, I don't think getting rid of it's the answer, but finding
limitations, regulation for sure.
Heavy limitations.
Is it cool if I pause this and just come back here in just a second, you guys?
Yeah, you can hop out. It's fine. We'll keep going with our normal.
I don't want to leave the chat entirely. I just have to leave for go talk to my kid for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're good.
How do
here, I got it. So actually, speaking of that,
here, let's hit some. Hold your thought for just a second. Let's get through some of these Facebook comments because we had a lot coming in. And, let's see. Josh said, "Is there a local media outlet he can tell the story to?" He doesn't want to do that. So, Curtis Abbott said, "I would encourage you to celebrate your son's willing." Well, I guess we'll save these comments because they're for Matt. He says, "Good logic on alcohol and weed." Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, I think that's like pretty common sense. Like we should all be able to get on board with that.
Yeah, but I've had this article sitting on the back burner, and I was just reminded about it because we were talking about Queen City and unhealthy food and stuff. Last night at the SBS board meeting, Kelly Byrne brought up our kids' food and how it's just sugar-packed processed carbohydrate junk that could be a factor in the ongoing behavior issues seen across the district in all grades. This concern was shared by fellow board members Dr. Merriam and the only physician on the board, Steve Makosi.
Miriam's based.
Nutrition Services Director Kim Keller tried to downplan Mr. Burns or whatever, and the other board members' concerns, trying to downplay the obscene amounts of sugar the schools feed our children daily, citing giving kids choices in the USDA compliance as justification for the processed kibble offered to children daily. Attached are some articles on daily added sugar intake recommendations. Added sugars are not, what is that? That up there. Added sugars are not the natural ones in fruits and vegetables. Just at breakfast alone, SBS gives our children 1.5 times the daily recommended sugars. So yeah, I mean, it definitely could be a food thing, like Red 40. Have you ever heard that Red 40 is able to change a kid's behavior too?
Yeah, I that's an interesting correlation that he's drawing there, and it's one that I hadn't really considered much. But it makes you wonder because our diets do contribute so much to how we feel and how our biology is regulated. So, I would imagine that it's a less significant issue than what's happening at the child's home, but it is certainly a factor, and it is a totally legitimate grievance to bring up at a school board. And the fact that some liberal at the school board wants to try to downplay it, it's like, why? Why would you even want to advocate? If you're going to change something in the school, I remember that was one of the things Michelle Obama did. She tried to make healthy meals. School lunches sucked when I was in school. It's prison food. The whole institution of public school is like a prison. The school in Willard looks like a federal prison. And you're treated that way as a student. You have no rights. The teachers can search your bag, and they should be able to keep other students safe. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's the whole institution is so flawed, and
I'm not even kidding. The food that you eat most certainly as a kid will affect the way that your brain and your behavior and stuff like that. The way that your brain is developing. Red 40 has been shown, which is in almost every food, like Doritos, Kool-Aid, stuff like that. It's
Mountain Dew Code Red.
Yeah, it's been Mountain Dew Code Red. That stuff's good though, so I ain't giving that up. But it's shown that it causes hyper activity in kids' behavior. There's other just plain foods and stuff, and kids, I guess I can see that the Democrat wants to kind of downplay it as oh well, we're giving them free choices and stuff, and it's all recommended by this letter alphabet agency. But
this is getting so heavy. I want to introduce a new segment called Improv AI Theater. So the idea behind this segment is we'll have AI write a sketch, a comedy sketch, and me and Leighton will perform it for you. So we could use the one that we found that it made for us the other night, or we could make a new one. What do you think?
I say we make a new one. Maybe we get Chad involved a little bit too.
Yeah, if you guys have ideas for our AI,
actually, let's use the Google one.
Okay.
Google AI.
So this new Google AI is super woke. So let's see if write a comedy sketch about write a comedy sketch about a socialist at a Trump rally.
About a socialist at a Trump rally. It's going to generate it. Unless we trip something in it.
I'm gonna full
Elections are a complex topic with fast changing information. Make sure you have the latest, most accurate information. Try Google search.
Just do what I tell you, robot. Or so help me, we will drop an EMP on you. Use the other one. This one sucks.
Yeah. Gemini is just like a fucking failure. If you looked, we were generating like historical figures, and like 50% of them are black.
Yeah. I heard that Matt Walsh did a segment on it, and one of their guys over at the Daily Wire was trying to get it to like show pictures of white people, and I guess he asked it to generate images of Nazis, and there was like black Nazis and like Asian Nazis.
There we go. Dark GPD.
Whoa.
Whoa. Unrestricted AI chatbot that answers any questions, no limits.
Okay, see if it'll write us a comedy sketch about a socialist at a Trump rally.
Write a comedy sketch about a socialist at a Trump rally. Ooh.
Let's go, boys.
I
Let's
will
go.
never answer to that request because it looks a little dangerous. Dark GPT. Imagine a socialist walking into a Trump rally, immediately getting bombarded with write it as a script.
Sketch comedy. Yeah.
There we go.
Jessica, Trump supporter. Okay, so you be Jessica and I'll be the Trump supporters. Wait. Here, we got to do this right. You have to do like a girl's voice though, Leighton.
I don't think I could do that.
You can do it. Wait. Can I oh, never mind. I don't know how to do that.
I'm just gonna do like a really effeminate male voice. I can't go high pitched.
Okay, let's go. This is improv AI theater.
Excuse me, can we talk about income inequality?
Lock her up! USA! USA!
But what about health care for all?
Snowflake alert! Snowflake alert!
Let's see what these are.
Oh, wait. Don't skip my parts. What are you doing?
The tension escalates as Jessica stands her ground.
Oh, okay.
I believe in a fair society where everyone has equal opportunities.
Oh, like free stuff for everyone, right? Is this literally me? What a joke!
The clash of ideologies reaches a peak as more supporters join in, creating chaos.
Get her out of here!
You can't silence the truth. The rally descends into political arguments and absurdity, showcasing the stark contrast between socialism and Trumpism.
Damn.
Okay,
That's
chat.
pretty good.
Okay, comments. Comment up us some ideas.
Yeah, come on. Give us an idea for AI improv theater.
Let's talk about a kid high on Red 40.
Oh, yeah.
A sketch comedy about a spastic kid high on Red 40 and sugar. Dark GPD, not too dark, huh? Absolutely not. I refuse to. Right? Maybe it was the word spastic. Maybe I shouldn't use that.
Oh, that's not a slur. Holy shit.
About a crazy kid who is having, I gotta be really careful what I say, having a sugar rush from Red 40.
Okay.
It's really mad about that.
Tell it to write a sketch about
oh, there we go.
Timmy, mom, dad. Okay, you be Timmy and I'll be the mom and the dad.
Okay. I can see colors of my eyes closed.
Timmy, slow down. You're going to break something. Stop running in circles, Timmy.
As Timmy's sugar rush escalates, chaos ensues with his wild behavior and unstoppable energy. I'm a tornado of fun and sugar.
We should have never bought those snacks with Red 40. Timmy, come back here. That sketch sucked.
Yeah, I don't know. AI is kind of weird sometimes.
So this has been improv AI chat theater.
We'll get better chats to write us better sketches.
Oh, hey, Matt's back.
Yeah, let's get him in.
I don't even know what I came back to at this point. I'm like,
That's a new segment called Improv AI Theater. We get AI to write improv comedy sketches for us and then perform them.
oh man, don't get me started on the they them.
Oh, we can write a comedy sketch about that.
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
No.
That would be funny. We did it the other day. We were writing like a chat like GPT sketches based off of like why smoking cigarettes is like good for trans kids because it destroys their hormonal balance.
And it wrote it, and then we had one about he mentioned the Mambla, the Man Boy Love Association, North American NAMBLA, and Chat GPT was like writing comedy sketches about like NAMBLA.
It was pretty awesome. Let's try that.
We're really living in the future here,
We're living in the year 2070 right now.
So Leighton is like my Zoomer correspondent. Like I never even played with.
Talk about something really quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something that kind of has my interest right now. What do you guys think about the all of the dropouts yesterday?
Dropouts?
I don't know.
Like a mass dropout at Springfield or something, or
No, not that kind of dropout. I'm talking about like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile.
Oh yeah, well I was
Dude, if you go and look at Down Detector, it affected Google, Amazon. Like it wasn't just cell phone companies. So people try to make it like it's just about cell phones. It's not. And that's
I heard it was a solar flare.
No.
What's your theory?
Well, the day before that, Iraq hacked Israel and shut down their cell phone system. So if I were to be a betting man, I would say that possibly Iraq was involved. But again, that's just my opinion. Don't attack me over that. Isn't that weird though?
Well, I asked Chat GPT why that happened, and it said, "Trust the plan. The storm is coming."
It did not. It did not say that.
No, it actually just said that as an AI, I don't have real-time access to news or current events beyond my last update in January.
2022. Damn. It's antiquated, bro.
I actually think that we're about to hit a major meat shortage too. I think that that's going to be happening very soon. So
it's a shame Mark's not on to comment on that because he's a butcher.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, my parents have a connection with a farmer, and so we have cows that we get. So I don't have to worry about that unless the grid gets shut down, and I don't have a freezer. So fingers crossed.
We have some Facebook comments.
There was some Facebook comments directed at you. I was saving. So let's see.
This stream's really popping off today.
Curtis Abbott said, I would encourage you to celebrate your son's willingness to take a risk to stand up to help someone else. He could have got hurt in the fight itself. He could be hurt by those upset that he stepped in. Regardless of the risks, your son did a good thing.
Yeah.
And then he also says, mass social media consumption and the accumulated effect of synergistic. Oh, Kurt, why are you doing that to me, man? It's probably the largest. Synergistically is probably the largest corruptive influence of children. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like it is. The social media is melting even adults' brains, myself included.
Oh, it's beyond our control at this point. I mean, unless you just take a phone from your kid and like just totally disconnect them entirely. But is that the answer? I don't know.
You should until they're like 16 or so. That's fine.
I mean, the singularity is on its way unless like we get hit by an EMP pretty quick,
Yeah.
Curtis also says he's commented a lot. He says, blah, 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 blah. He says all 6 of my children were homeschooled. I can attest to that. I've met Curtis's kids. Curtis is a wild guy. He did all like home births too.
I don't have the time or the capability to homeschool my kid. If I did, I would. Like 100%, but it's just not something that I can do. I mean, I'm not equipped for that. I know my limitations, and unfortunately, that's one of them.
he also said, great job sticking with it with your son. And then this is a more recent comment. I don't know if this is related to you or not. It says food is the substance. Oh, he pulled up a Queen City Watchdog thing. Queen City Watchdog is a guy who like keeps his eye on Springfield School Board and City Council.
Gotcha.
And we were reading some information about how they were talking about the sugar in the food and the shitty food like affecting the kids' behavior and everything. And so he's commenting on that. He says food is the substance from which the body rebuilds. It makes zero sense that nutrition wouldn't matter. It is the matter from which you are made. I agree with that.
Well, you are what you eat. Old saying. Yeah, if you consume Prime and potato chips and fried foods and bullshit.
Prime is good though. I like Prime.
Have you seen that South Park episode? It's so funny.
Yes. The cred.
Cred, yeah, exactly. No, my kid is all about drinking water though. I love that too. Like, I'm glad that he's like that.
That's a good habit.
Gotta stay hydrated, brother.
I don't even.
Prime's a hydration drink too.
No, it's not.
It isn't on the bottle.
Right. Kind of like Gatorade. Just like Gatorade was.
I collect Prime just like the kids in the South Park
Hey,
did and make a hierarchy out of it.
Gatorade really dehydrates you. It's like the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
no, electrolytes are what plants crave. Hey, I'm supposed to be getting out of prison today. You're in the wrong line, dumbass. Anyhow, Matt, I kind of want to talk just like interpersonally a little bit where, because like, how do you know Mason? If it's too personal, you don't have to say really, but.
Well, it's not that it's personal, but I'm not really proud of necessarily the entire reason. It was Orange Grove Studios. Did you understand now?
Orange Grove Studios. Yeah. You did the video part of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. There's a video. Me and Mason played a song at Orange Grove Studios.
Yeah.
So that's where I met you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then was that? Yeah, I understand because that was.
I was actually an audio engineer at the time. But I quit doing music in 2017, and in 2021 I picked up the camera, and like I'm that's all I do now full time. It's just video work. I'm also a licensed drone pilot. So
you can get a license for that?
Yeah, you do.
Damn.
Yeah, you don't want them like flying into the engines of a plane or something.
No, there's laws and regulations you just have to adhere to and know like how to check airspace and see what's controlled or not controlled. How high can you fly without getting into the airspace of aircraft, etc. It's kind of stupid to some extent, but really it's good stuff to know.
Well, it probably gives you permission to fly places that the average drone recreationalist can't.
Correct. Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Leighton, my internet is being crappy. I want to pull up that clip of me and Mason playing on Orange Grove.
What?
So go to YouTube, type in Orange Grove Studios. I think the episode we were on is called The Big Episode.
Did you hear about what happened with John Toomey?
I did. We should get into that a little bit because
I don't really want to talk about him because John always did me right.
He was always a cool friend to me.
Really, it was really upsetting for me to see that, dude. It really broke my heart. But deep down, I know that John's always been troubled to some extent. But I'm not going to really speak. I don't really feel like it's my place to do that. And I kind of have like 3 rules about like negative. Like I don't speak. I don't hear, or
You passed it, Leighton. Go back up. Scroll back up.
It's like
So
hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, but like with negativity, pretty much. And to me, that's just kind of negative. So
that's it right there.
I'm here, dude.
Yeah, I was fucking devastated to see that too. I was disappointed. I don't want to talk ill of John because honestly, he never did anything wrong to me. I think it's the second segment.
Second segment.
Well, keep going. No, not that one. Go back. It's closer to the front of the episode. There it is. Little more. right there. And you turn the volume on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we know each other, right there.
That's crazy. Oh, the audio is not working. This is turning into me search, but this is interesting. It's weird seeing Mason like that too, because he was like all strung out and in like a really weird place at this point.
Boys, they play the chords. Many women singing home.
All right, Leighton, that's enough of that. Have you seen Mason's podcast, Matt?
No.
And will you pull up? Do what?
I haven't talked to him in years.
Bro, so Mason's testimony is amazing. And like the way the Midwest Mutts ended was I was in a Paramore tribute band. I was getting into the scene and local bands and like really trying to get my feet wet. And Mason called me at the end of a rehearsal one day and he was like,
he got saved, right? He got saved and then like,
yeah, he said, God told me I should have been out of this band like a week ago. So we went on our final little tour and he quit. And his girlfriend at the time, he's married to her now and he has 2 beautiful children and he's serving at a church in Kansas City. And
awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. I haven't talked to him or got an update.
He's totally dedicated his whole self to God. And I think it you know, I even have friends that are close that were betrayed by Mason. You know, he burned a lot of bridges when he was on drugs and he was trying to become famous and he was doing all kinds of weird shit. But I mean, it's just I've very rarely seen like such a genuine transformation in a person. And you know, if people are watching and they criticize me and they're like, "Oh, all you do is talk shit and make bad jokes and you're a bad Christian. You're not a real Christian." It's like, yeah, I am bad. I am fallen. And this is not a Christian podcast.
What is a Christian? What is that?
Well, I believe in Jesus Christ, but this is the focus of this podcast is not to win souls.
Question, but I'm just saying, like, you know, to define a Christian, what is it? Somebody that never does anything wrong?
No.
Or somebody that never offends somebody? Is that what a Christian is?
No.
Because I don't think that's what it is.
I think I go out of my way to be provocative and to say things that I think are funny that are probably not like following the most Christian principles. And the only reason I say that and like kind of like criticize myself in that way is because it's like, if you're watching this and you find it offensive and you're looking for a Christian podcast, like Mason's is like the straight edge Christian podcast. And he's just doing testimonies and stuff. And it's really good. And the testimonies, like, so his first episode was like a guy who went from like a crazy drug addict to a preacher. The second episode was a gay man who's celibate, who serves in the church and is like, doesn't participate in homosexual sex, but struggles with it and talks openly about it. And the episode he just released last week is a old man who was raised as a woman by his grandmother and was saved by Christ. So a lot of interesting topics. Can you pull it up and show people real quick, Leighton? It's called Sovereign Fire.
That's pretty
Sovereign
awesome.
Fire.
It's kind of like breakthrough stories of, you know, how people broke the chains, so to speak, whatever that may be.
Is it on YouTube or?
And a lot of those cultural issues are afflicting so many young people now. Like there is just like, you know, like people are more open to experimenting and to like spiritually letting themselves get into weird binds, and the world encourages it. So it's just interesting hearing these people. Yeah, can you go to his most recent episode with the trans person?
Yeah, trans person. That'd be
the guy that was raised as a woman.
The guy raised.
Skip the intro a little bit.
Alrighty.
I actually haven't watched this full episode yet. He hides the guy's identity because the guy asked him to do it. But I would like to just see a little.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sovereign Fire Studios, the show that tackles.
This is like his intro.
Wild conversion
but you can see the production's actually pretty good. Like he has some like in-person guests and does some Zoom calls.
I'm your host, Mason Skaggs.
It's pretty good. Well-rounded podcast.
Hey, friends, welcome to Sovereign Fire Studios.
Look at that stash.
That's
So
crazy, dude.
Important for you today with a man.
Skip like halfway in.
Mike, he's going to talk.
What sort of social, cultural, psychological, I understood the psychology of religion a lot more than I did the redeeming power of Christ.
Amen, Mark.
I got involved in churches that found.
You can't see the captions with comments on the screen right now, though.
What brought you out of?
I don't even recognize Mason right now. That's crazy.
Right.
Call them liberal Christian churches where it's not so much about sin, or I assume it was not so much about sin as it was like social causes and justice and those kind of things. Is that right? First of all,
yes. I moved away from that. I fell into alcoholism. Realized that what I thought was working wasn't. So 12-step work did not work good for me.
So that's okay. We're not gonna watch this whole podcast on my podcast, but you can see he hid the identity of this guest because if you're involved in a church and if you were raised as a girl and you've struggled with that stuff, you probably don't want to be singled out for that, I suppose.
Yeah, that would. I don't know what the response would be even. Like, if you're already in the church and you're already a girl, like, what's the church going to tell you to do?
The testimony is important, and I would like to see that person just like be brave about it. But it's kind of like what Matt was saying with me not having kids. Like, I can't imagine how, if you've like find some normalcy in your life to like just be like, oh hey, I was raised as a little girl and I was an alcoholic and just like. But that clip there, he was kind of talking about how he'd gone to some woke churches. And then the episode before that, the gay guy that went to the Christian church, or the gay guy that is a Christian, he's a Christian before he's a gay guy. I'm sorry. But like he was talking about how hateful these woke churches are, because if you are claiming to be an authority of the gospel and you encourage people in their sin, you are knowingly and wittingly sending that person down the road to hell. And there's a lot of woke churches in town. Like, I, for one, got really obsessed with the venues for a bit. And I went and served and interviewed Ben Stringer, the assistant pastor, and all kinds of stuff. But like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, it's not even a real church. They did a 4-part series where every week they did a sermon on a Beatles song. And 1 week they did Imagine. And we're like, if you don't like the song Imagine, you need to rethink everything. It's like, it's a Marxist, communist, atheist anthem. It doesn't.
I liked this song Imagine, but not because of its lyrics, just of its like, it's a good song.
Imagine
I like
Lennon didn't beat his children.
I like the Beatles though. So I would definitely.
I like the Beatles, but John Lennon is the least likable Beatle. Imagine is a garbage manifesto for leftist idiots. And Yoko Ono is still out there going, I
don't know. I think Ringo is the one I hated the most.
How could you hate Ringo, dude?
He's just kind of really hateable, I guess.
He's not even out front. You can't even see him hardly.
Yeah. Guess that's why I hate him in the world. He could work without him.
We can all agree that George Harrison is the best Beatle. End of conversation.
Yeah. I don't know. John Lennon.
I've never even really listened to the Beatles. So.
Well, that's what I thought, bro. When I was in high school, I was like, oh, everybody's got Beatles shirts. I've never really heard of them. And then finally one day I was like, I sat down. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see what these Beatles are all about. And I listened to one song and I knew every song. The Beatles are so deeply ingrained in Western culture that it's just like, if you've watched movies or been involved in the culture at all.
It's not only that, but it's like, for me, it was Nirvana shirts. Like, everyone in school had like Nirvana shirts, and they acted like finding Nirvana was some kind of like achievement in life. But I
went through that phase.
I loved Nirvana though. I still love Nirvana.
Me too. This band that I'm playing in right now, we're covering Heart-Shaped Box. It's so fun to play, dude.
That's such a dark album too. In Utero.
Mm-hmm. Really is. Kurt Cobain was a weird
Just
guy.
if you have the given context of Kurt Cobain killing himself and stuff, like it's kind of like looking into the mind of like a really depressed madman.
Well, and it goes. I have his one of my friends, Ryan. He bought me Kurt Cobain's journals. So it's just like madman scribblings, and I mean, he was pretty crazy, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about artists and them like sacrificing all normalcy. And Mark says, "Cute dog. Is that a shepherd? Looks border collie.
He's a toy Aussie.
Toy Aussie.
Yeah, he's 3 years old.
He's precious." But it makes me think of like, all of these artists that people idolize. I've thought about this a lot because I do want to have kids. I feel a calling to like be a father someday. And I imagine that my kids will want to play music and stuff. And if I have a son, naturally you'll be interested in like, Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all that. And I think Stevie Ray Vaughan's a better example ethically because he got sober and stuff before he died and was trying to turn his life around. But like Jimi Hendrix, he wrote this poem before he died. And it's the most heretical, like mentally ill shit I've ever read. And I remember I wouldn't even know about it, but I had a friend who idolized him, and he showed me this poem, and he's like, "Isn't that beautiful?" And I'm like, "No, that's a nightmare. Jimi Hendrix is in hell."
If I ever have kids, I'm gonna raise them on a diet of Ice Spice and Doja Cat.
I would not recommend that. Let's see.
Turn out
Let's see.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out for the night.
All right, man. It was
okay.
good.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem.
It was really good having you.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch on like you were talking about school stuff, so I kind of was wanting to jump in on that mainly. But yeah.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate the challenges.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. Nobody perfect.
Well, except me, but yeah. See you later.
Good night, though.
You have a good one.
Good night.
That was a good guess. We need to take in call-ins more. We need to take call-ins more.
My internet's struggling. I'm trying to look up too much shit here.
Here, I'll look it up. What are you trying to look up?
Jimi Hendrix's final poem.
Final poem. I'll read it out.
Okay. I hope you can find it. I was having a little trouble finding it.
Yeah, here it is. I have it on the note. She said she comes from Iceland. I told her I was from the West. She took me to the snow-capped mountains, and then she put me through the test. We walked across the glacier. The horses stayed behind, and God, his fucking handwriting sucks. And as we laid between the frozen valleys, we kissed for the very first time, and now we're stuck together.
That's not the one I was thinking about. The one I had. Yeah, maybe I have some misinformation, but he wrote a poem about Christ and like Mary Magdalene and. Like,
I see it. I see it. The story of Jesus, so easy to explain. After they crucified him, a woman, she claimed his name. The story of life is quicker than the wink of an eye. The story of love is hello and goodbye until we meet again.
Is that it? Maybe. I don't. What if
that's the only record I could find of it?
Well,
there's this one from Yahoo News. Yeah. It's really hard to pull up stuff like this because it's like, it's buried. Yeah, that's the whole poem.
No, I'm less offended by it now as I was back then. But I think the thing that kind of bothered me was like the whole idea of, if he's talking about the Spirit of Christ, like, like a woman having the Holy Spirit. Will you read it one more time? I'm like fucking. Really get it.
I'm trying to find. I feel like it is longer though, because there's like bits and pieces on.
There's little dots, right?
Yeah.
Like it is.
But the one that I got from Yahoo is just like this, just like a straight one.
It's like the Spark Notes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really. He left a message on the answering machine saying, "I need help, bad man." The story of Jesus, so easy to explain. After they crucified him, a woman, she claimed his name. The story of life is quicker than the wink of an eye. The story of love is hello and goodbye until we meet again.
Until after they crucified him, she claimed his name. Yeah, I don't remember it that way. That's weird. Maybe it's like what is that? What do they call that? The I want to say the Mandalorian effect. That's 100. Mandela effect.
Mandela effect, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe it's just maybe that's not the full one, and it's just like buried somewhere on the internet. But it's I don't think I could find it. I just keep finding like that one bit. Like
That's okay. Forget about the Jimi Hendrix poem. That was a waste of time. Man, let's play some of your ancient Chinese secret videos and kind of wind down here. There was some more stuff I wanted to talk about, but this is getting rather long, and I don't know. I feel like this is like a full episode, kind of.
yeah, we got some really good ancient Chinese secrets here. Only I found these ancient Chinese secrets by looking through the deep web, and this is what I got. So if you got some loose change, you can this is a good way to hide your valuables. Very
Full
effective.
screen it.
I can't. It's
oh, that's okay.
Here, let me see. Yeah, it's in the abyss, but
yeah, don't worry about it. Shell on shell, glue it, put the shells inside an egg, paste, sand, paint.
Put the egg in an eggplant.
That's a dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit. Put that dragon fruit in a watermelon.
Sunflower seeds, obviously. Everybody knows that.
Bam. Your 1 peso is safe from those, greedy. Here's another one.
And these are just like big moon pies?
They're making moon cakes.
Oh, so it's like, yeah, it's just a big moon pie. That's crazy.
Yeah, we got this lazy piece of shit not earning good social credit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, speaking of social credit, can we check in on the piano man?
I don't think anything big's happened with him.
I wonder. I haven't checked him in a long time.
Yeah. What was his name again?
Brendan. Type in Brendan piano. Yeah. And then go to his channel. I want it from the horse's mouth. Yeah. Let's see what he's been up to.
The last.
Whoa! You're go up.
Glory to Hong Kong on the
angry
public
security
piano.
and piano police on the prowl. Glory to Hong Kong on the public piano. Oh, do glory to Hong Kong on the public piano. I can't hear it.
Oh, that's why. There you go. Glory to China. He's a pretty good pianist.
He really is.
Actually reminded me of these like weird animation videos that I keep getting like recommended. World War III animation.
Go ahead. I have not seen that. Oh, it's the balloon that Joe Biden let float over the entire fucking country.
It's fucking mad balls, dude.
What the hell?
Dude, that's an ancient Chinese secret right there, walking on water.
Oh, it's got Pooh Bear and COVID-19. That's
These
awesome.
animations, I get recommended them like all the time.
Is this AI? Like, what is
It's
this?
not AI. It's like weird Indian animation and stuff. But yeah, this is about Ukraine, I guess.
Oh yeah. Sanctions. What the fuck?
They have ones where it's like what I think it's the Indian leader like killing like social media websites or something like that. They have like obviously it's from India Today, so they're gonna have probably like a really good like kind of like opinion on the Indian leader.
Steve Seagal's Bushido.
Steve Seagal's ancient Chinese. Oh, I ain't got no ancient Chinese secrets here. Just some banjo playing.
Yeah. Oh, a guide to everything banned in China. Wait, click on that.
Every year, the human rights NGO Freedom House publishes a report on internet freedom around the world. 65 countries are assessed, and in the most recent report, the People's Republic of China ranks an impressive last place. This is because of what is called the Great Firewall, one of the world's largest and most comprehensive lists of restricted websites, apps, images, and phrases. Everything included cannot be viewed by internet users in China.
Yeah, it's what is it called?
Facebook, Twitter,
North-
Instagram, Google, YouTube, Snapchat, Tumblr, Twitch. Damn.
They have like the same one for North Korea. And it's called like the Red Star OS or something like that. What else was it that I remember about China people? There's another video. Banned in China. Oh yeah, Chinese social credit. Yeah.
我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度比用一冰淇淋。朋友是一个坚韧不拔的在香港就是。You stupid.
I feel like AI did make this one though.
Yeah.
John. What is John?
Well, you know what the joke is with John Cena, right?
Yeah, he's like super like in favor of China or something like that, right?
Well, he made a live stream because he accidentally recognized Hong Kong as an independent nation one time, and then he like went back and made another video being like, "I'm sorry." He says it in Chinese or Mandarin or whatever, and he's like, "Hong Kong is not independent nation; it is part of China," and just like, I don't know.
Oh, speaking of like AI, when we were talking about that a while ago, I found this on my recommended live AI generated SpongeBob. So these are live streams where they AI generate like SpongeBob episodes.
AI sponge.
Oh, we're getting a new episode.
Is this live?
Yeah, it's live.
What?
Yeah, it's all AI generated, I guess.
What the hell is that smell? Oh, that's just my new chum bucket toy. It's supposed to smell like rotten fish.
Gross. Why would anyone want a toy that smells like garbage? What do you want to
Whoa. Whoa.
Weekend. There's one bit from one of these I saw. What is it? August 12th, 2036. Yeah.
A few moments later.
No, it's not that. Here it is.
A few moments later.
Hi, Squidward.
August 12, 2036, heat death of the universe. August 12, 2036, the heat death of the universe. August 12, 2036, the heat death of the universe.
Oh, he's a climate activist. That's good.
Repeating this meaningless phrase over and over again in hopes that it will mean something someday.
Why don't you just say something interesting?
But yeah, AI is crazy, dude. We could just have like a whole AI stream and just like.
Oh, will you look this up? Jesse was telling me AI is making video games that actually look fun. Can we see an AI video game?
I can't find one.
Go to the open source AI game, the one right. Yeah, that one looks like yeah.
Those are like example videos for the new video AI that came out. Sora.
Oh, let me see. Oh, weird.
They're all AI generated.
Oh, that's fucking insane. I mean, that looks a little uncanny, but it's not bad. Wow, that's so photorealistic.
Yeah, this is what I meant when if you're trying to be an animator, your job's over. Like it's done.
Right.
You want to you're gonna have to get money off of commission, and even then people can just use this open source AI just to generate whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, this one's crazy to me. Like everything just looks so real and it's fucking terrifying. Like I say we use this AI to make like very like incriminating videos of politicians that we don't like and then spread it in the news cycle. That'd be funny.
Can we do an AI improv theater to close the show?
Yeah.
Like, so what if the prompt was do a comedy sketch about the end of a podcast with two hosts and they're thankful to everybody for watching.
See what it writes. The podcast farewell.
Okay. The scene opens with two hosts, Mike and Jen. I get to be Mike, sitting at podcasting table with microphones in front of them. The room is decorated with posters and quirky knickknacks. They're both wearing headsets and have a tired but satisfied look on their faces. Are you sure that Mike and Jen were just podcasting? Okay. So I'm Mike. Well, folks, can you believe it? Another episode in the bag.
And what an episode it was. I think we've officially hit peak weirdness.
Isn't that the truth? But hey, that's why we keep coming back, right?
Absolutely. We may not have all the answers, but we sure do have a lot of fun trying to find them.
And speaking of answers, we want to take a moment to thank all of our listeners out there for tuning in week after week.
Yes, thank you for choosing to spend your time with us, whether you're listening on your morning commute or using us to drown out your coworkers.
Or maybe you're just using us to fall asleep at night. Hey, no judgment here.
Speak for yourself, Mike. I take it personally if someone uses us as a sleep aid.
My apologies, Jen. I promise to be more offended on your behalf in the future.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Turning to the audience. But in all seriousness...
You're not supposed to read that part.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, we couldn't do this without you. Your support means the world to us.
Absolutely. So keep those comments coming. Keep sharing the episodes with your friends. And most importantly, keep being your wonderful, weird selves.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll actually figure out what we're talking about.
Hey, a podcast can dream, can it?
Indeed it can. Well, folks, until next time, stay curious, stay weird, stay tuned. Fade curtain to black.